Hey everyone, welcome back to the Saint of the Day with us seminarians here in the Diocese of Pittsburgh. The saint I want to talk to you about is St. Francis de Sales, who is actually my confirmation saint. Now it is the third Sunday of Ordinary Time, so typically what would happen for Francis de Sales, we'd celebrate him again on January 24th, but obviously Jesus' resurrection takes priority. So a little bit about St. Francis de Sales is that he was born and raised in France, and he always had a desire to serve the Lord. But born into a noble family, his father wanted him to get a career. So what he did, he went to the University of Padua in Paris. And so what he studied was law. And continuing through his studies again, he loved the Lord, wanted to serve him in some way, but knew his father didn't really appreciate it. And so he was humble in that way of being obedient to him. He always had a desire to pursue him and wanting to know exactly what the Lord wanted for him. And the exact moment came whenever, as Francis was studying, he's also learning how to ride horses and fencing. And what happened is 3 times in one day he fell off his horse, and the sword and the scabbard came out in the shape of a cross. 3 distinct times in which Francis took this as a sign, saying, "All right, Lord, I'll follow." Through that, he talked to his father and said, "Hey, I really desire to serve the church. I desire to serve the Lord," as he experienced God's love. So the father gave him that grace to be able to do so, went to the bishop, he was ordained a priest, and one of the missions that he's well known for is converting 40,000 Calvinists after the Reformation. This is in the early 1700s. So, as he was going about doing this, and why I actually chose him for my confirmation saint, is because of the well-known fact that he was very patient throughout the whole process. Now, a lot of people that were his peers thought that he was crazy for going about doing this. He spent 3 years trying to convert these Calvinists, and they would never give him the light of day. What happened was that he'd go to the doors, get door slammed in his face. He's walking through the snow, and he just doesn't have any shoes, and so his feet are sore, walking through his blood. But he never gave up. He always focused that this is the Lord's mission and what he wanted to do. And it actually came about to fruition because of his patience. What he ended up doing, and what he became the patron saint of for journalists and for Catholic writers, is that he slid his sermons under the doors of the Calvinists so that they could read it and say, there's something profound about the Catholic faith. Now, the adults didn't really want to go to him. However, he tended to the children, and the adults saw the way in which he loved the children, which opened the hearts of the adults. Later in Francis's life, he ended up becoming the Bishop of Geneva, and he directed his role specifically to the spiritual life in aiding the children of God and guiding them to a devotion to the Lord. Now, a misconception around this period was the call to holiness. A lot of people thought that the call to holiness was just for those who were clerics, those who were in the religious life. And Francis seriously did not condone this in stating, holiness is for everyone. It's all our job to pursue the Lord, in which came about his famous spiritual writing called The Introduction to the Devout Life, in which he met a woman named Jane Chaucer, I believe, and she ended up becoming a saint with him, just diving into the mystical life as a lay woman, and what does it mean to pursue Christ. Now I'm going to read you one little passage from his book of The Introduction to the Devout Life to encourage you that there is this work out here that a well-known saint, one that loved the Lord, desires for you if you're pursuing a life of holiness, a devout life for the Lord. And so what he says is, all true and living devotion presupposes the love of God. Devotion is simply a spiritual activity and liveliness by means of which divine love works in us and causes us to work briskly and lovingly. So for all of you guys who are watching, I encourage you, as St. Francis de Sales says right here, the Lord is first pursuing you in the love that he wants for you. I hope that you can respond as St. Francis de Sales did, in understanding that it's through God's love that I can pursue him, and it's through the intercession of St. Francis de Sales that I can learn how to journey into a loving relationship with our Father. God bless.